everybody, welcome to Homes with Kim. I'm Kim Opalinsky, a real estate associate with RE/MAX Real Estate, and this is Stephen from YegTube TV.
Hey everybody, just a reminder we are live tonight on YouTube. If you're watching us on YouTube, Kim is watching the YouTube feed, so if you have any questions or comments, leave them there and she'll go ahead and answer them for you.
Thanks, Stephen. And today we have a special guest with us, Carol Melko from Condo Docs Reviewed, and she's going to explain to us what's involved with what she looks for when she's looking through the condo docs and what condo docs are all required. Welcome, Carol. Thanks for coming.
Thanks, Kim. It's good to be here.
So, first question that we have is, why have Condo Docs Reviewed?
Okay, the main reason I think that people all want to have their documents reviews is hopefully to save them some money. Getting involved or buying into a condo is buying into a corporation. So you're buying into a corporation which is not, unlike buying a home, but if you're to have a special, like let's just say, when you're buying into a house, you're going to have, it's like having a house inspection. The difference being we're looking into the corporation and seeing how well they've been running it in the past so that it's going to affect you going into the future, going forward. So again, things like shortfalls, special assessments, everybody's seen those on the news. It seems to be the #1 fear of, walking into something like that. 2-3 months, 4 or 5 months down the road, you get, hit by a special assessment. And sometimes they can be really large and quite scary.
Okay. Stephen, do you have a question for us?
Yeah, I'm just a quick question, a little curious as to once I get the condo documents, do you review them with me or how do we go over that?
Sure. Well, more and more documents are coming online, so the management company are providing them through their website. So yeah, first thing that we do, #1, get the documents to us. We will give you a list really quickly, you and your realtor, if you're working with a realtor, what's missing and what needs to be updated. So we get that, that's our #1 step. While we're starting that, then we kind of go further into sending out an authorization and just describing what we're going to be doing for you. When we get the second set of the documents that hopefully won't take more than a couple days, usually 2 to 3 days at most. If the management companies aren't too busy, and that's the only thing that can slow us down. We only take about 2 business days once we have everything to complete that review and get it back to you.
So do you actually sit down with them and talk to them, or just how do you do that?
We can, if that's what they like, but the majority of people are in a rush, and so what we do is we send them the report via email, and then they call us once they receive it. So from the leisure and the comfort of their own home, day or evening. One thing that's really important is we're open all the time.
Okay.
Yeah, we're 24/7, weekends
Just
and
like
evenings.
us.
Yeah, you call us anytime. We go through the report with you, making sure that you don't miss anything that we feel is important.
Okay, sounds good. How long, well, you sort of answered this question, how long it takes.
Yeah, that's my habit of answering things before they come up. Yeah, we do take about 2 to 3 days. Now, I should mention, though, you can't really rely on that time frame, because often when things are missing from the initial package, it could take, and management companies will say, between 3 and 10 business days. They don't rarely take that long to, they rarely take that long. So they don't normally take that long to get them, but they can. Like I say, so, be prepared. I would say at least 5 business days, maybe even going into the next, because they're not open on weekends like we are, waiting, 6 or 7 days, I would say.
And typically when a real estate agent lists a house, or a condo, they ask for what condo docs need to be done and hopefully get their client to get them before it even sells, so that you have everything.
Yeah, and that normally if both real estate, yes, for sure, that's normally what happens. But if by chance it's taken 2 or 3 or 4 months to sell, the documents from that date will need to be updated.
Updated, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that sounds good. Stephen?
Yeah, I think you kind of mentioned this, but okay, so the condo documents get emailed to you. As the buyer, I have to email those to you, or the seller emails them? How's that work?
Generally, okay, the seller is responsible to provide them to you. So once you write the offer to purchase, that is when, at that point, they have to deliver them to you. So depending on how you got them, if you got them in a paper format, you can just drop them off to our office. Now what we do is we scan them and put them onto PDFs so that everybody can see them. We can send them to lawyers, bankers, whomever after that point. But as long as you can get them to us. So you or your realtor can drop them off at any time, whomever, or more and more, like I say, are online. So the management companies have websites, and so either on condo papers. So then those ones, easy peasy, can just be emailed to us, and we go through them right away.
Okay, and who typically pays for the condo docs?
Documents are paid for by the seller. Good question.
Yeah.
That's not your responsibility as a buyer. So yeah, it's the responsibility of the seller to pay for those, get them to you. Now again, if there's complications and they're not getting the documents to you, you as a buyer or as a realtor can order them, and you can get reimbursed this by when the sale goes through disbursements by the lawyer. They can reimburse you that money it took.
Thank you for letting us know that. What documents are required?
Okay, well,
the notice of special assessments.
yeah, that's a really important one. Now, hopefully, these ones, if they're basically known about right now, you will get something like a letter or a document stating that there is a special assessment at this time. Now, those ones aren't too worrisome because those ones will be cleared by the lawyer before you take possession.
Okay.
The ones that we're looking for are the future ones that are really not as easy to find. That and shortfalls. There's things called shortfalls as well. And that's when condo fees haven't been, let's just say, for instance, it's very attractive to keep condo fees low to prospective buyers.
Yes.
In doing so, they might be finding that they're shortfalling a little bit over maybe 4 or 5 years. They do pick-me-ups every 4 or 5 years. Now, if that falls on a new purchaser's, on their time frame, it's not really fair that they have to pick up, what the other people had not have to put into. So these things we can also warn you about, and these are things that are not too easy to find. You do need a trained eye to find these.
And that's why it's important to use a condo review company.
Yeah, like these are really important things that are difficult to see, and a lot of people think that their lawyer is going to handle all this for them. They don't. The only thing that they look after is the transfer of title, of course.
Yep.
But any monies up to the date of possession, so taxes, condo fees, special assessments or that are on the table, they'll all be paid out before you take possession. But the ones that are 3, 4, 5 months down the road, nobody's going to see unless you hire a professional.
Okay, good to know. What about current financial statement or balance sheet?
Yeah, these are just part of the 3 that are really important. Current financial, we want to see what they have currently in the reserve fund. The balance sheet, that's basically kind of the same thing. And then one more, which would be, I think that's coming next, which is the audited financial statement for their last fiscal year.
Okay. And then what about the reserve fund study and cash flow plan?
Yeah, that's the really important one. The cash flow plan is updated every 5 years. The reserve fund study, they have 2 years from the date that they build the property.
Okay.
1 year to register. The second year is they have to have the reserve fund done around the second year. The cash flow plan is then set out for 25 years, like I say, updated every 5 years. Now, the board is really, this is them for a guideline for them to try to follow.
Okay.
So they set up their budget and all of their finances so that they can meet the money that needs to go in to the reserve fund, and then after that, then they can pay all their bills. But if they don't do that every year, for the next 5 years, and it's a little bit shortfall, that's when you're going to start to see that it's declining a bit, and they're not keeping up. So a brand new building, often the condo fees start off really low, and they're very attractive. But we know that's going to change very shortly.
Yes.
And it has to. So.
Okay. What about registered bylaws?
Yeah, really important. Very important for the client to read these. Certainly, if they have any specific, things, requests, pets, or if they want to put a satellite dish or they want to put a fountain in their front yard. These are important things The more important thing, though, is if you do have unique pets or anything unique questions, it's really important to contact the board. This is something that just by reading documents you can't really get answers to. So you'll need to contact the board directly, because they will have to often vote if it's a unique pet or more than 2 or 3 pets. They have to do a vote and approve that. So you have to have a pet registration. Those are important things to go direct on.
Okay. What about management contract?
Yeah, very important too, just to make sure that the management company that they've hired, a lot of people think that they have more control over what the board members do, but you want to see what they have been hired for, because it's part of what you're paying them. When you hire them, you want to see what they're actually hired to do. The board are the directors, and they are the ones that are the decision makers. So the management company is just being guided by them.
Okay. What about an information statement disclosure letter?
Really important. It's similar to like an estoppel certificate, but it's not. This is something that gives you an opportunity prior to closing of the sale to find out about encumbrances, lawsuits. It should also give the condo fee and the reserve fund balance. If it doesn't, hopefully that's when you hire us, we're going to find that out for you.
Okay.
A lot of them don't, but this is a really important letter, because it's going to let you know, is there any lawsuits or encumbrances or anything like that. Like I say, it's prior to closing. When you find the estoppel, hopefully the lawyer can rectify, but if there is, let's just say, a special assessment, it better be in the information statement.
Okay, sounds good. And the AGM meeting minutes.
That's a really important one, because that's where everybody gets to come to the meeting. It's an annual meeting for everybody to attend. And you can see a lot of what's going on over the course of a year in that particular meeting.
Okay, and they require a full year of meeting minutes.
Yes. Again, you want to see what's being chattered, talked about. If there's problems, it's going to probably show, like let's just say there's a lot of ruckus, a lot of complaints, a lot of noise factors, leaks, things, that you're finding out. You're going to see a lot of little things that slip out into those board minutes that could be of concern.
Okay. What about an insurance certificate?
Yeah, those are handy, just so you can see what the building actually has, what they're insured for. But also, this is a good, you can also get the binder from the insurance certificate, the insurer, so that you're not overlapping on the insurance that you're getting. One of 2 things, you could use the same insurance company, that way you won't overlap, or just get their binder and go to your own insurance company to make sure you're not overlapping.
Okay. And the condominium plan.
Yeah, that's the survey sheet, which is really good. It'll give you your square footage, also the unit factors of which your condo fees are based on. So unit factors will be also mentioned there, how many unit factors, and then if you have any storage unit factors, parking unit factors. If they're titled, then you'll usually have unit factors for that, should be in the condo plan.
Okay. And the condominium sheet, or otherwise known as the CAD.
CAD, yeah. Known as the CAD, a lot of people are mistaken it for other documents, but condominium additional document plan or sheet is what they call it at Spin 2, and it's easily ordered for $10. It gives you a lot of good information. It'll give you any changes to bylaws. So when we get the bylaws and we see the 9-digit number, it should be mentioned in that CAD. So we're going to know, yes, these in fact are the most current bylaws, but they give you, lots of other information too. If it's a phased development, there's it could be liens and things in there too, but you should find that on the title. But this is just really good. It's going to tell you anything that's been changed on the documents.
Okay, and what about a lease for parking agreement?
Right, very good. Most condominiums parking are leased, but not all. Some of them are titled, and if a very easy way to find the title parking, if somebody is saying we believe our parking is titled, you once you order the title, the actual title, and then you see the 9-digit number in the top right-hand corner, you take that 9-digit number, go back into Spin 2 in the registered documents, put that 9-digit number in, and go +1. Now, if you get anything, a title back, then you know that that's either parking or it could be storage. But that's how you will find your title parking. And then you go +2, +3 until you get no more.
Until you get no more, okay. What about the rules and regulations, the owner's guide?
Yep, really good to have. Again, it's not something that we actually require to do the report. We're looking
Okay.
more into the financial part of it. But again, this is where you should get your pet registration rules, regulations. Really good to look at before you move in, for sure.
Yeah.
Hey, I have a quick question for you, Carol.
Sure.
Of all these documents and all this information that's coming and going, where's the typical bottleneck? The one thing that we're always waiting for?
That's a good question, because actually it's usually that information statement. When the documents come, if the, let's just say it took 2 months to sell, in the market, we would try to get border minutes and things like that updated in the meantime. But one thing that does have to be ordered directly and is done by a person. So if they are on condo papers, you can usually get all the other documents fairly up to date. But the information statement is done by hand. So when you order one, it often takes a minimum of 3 days. Anything less than that, there could be a hefty charge. Some of the management companies charge $200 for a 2-day information statement. So if you're willing to wait 3 or 4 days for it, you won't be charged that hefty fee. It could be anywhere from 40 to 80 or a little bit more. It depends. Every management company charges a different fee for that, but that's generally one you would have to wait for.
Okay.
Yeah.
So is there anything else that you think everyone should know, or?
Not really.
we
No,
cover
I
everything?
think that people, I think they think that their lawyer does a lot of they say, well, oh, no, my lawyer's going to do this. But in actuality, lawyers don't do what we do at all. The only thing that a lawyer would take care of would be what's on the table today. Like I say, if there is something that they've been given that says there's a special assessment, they'll make sure that's cleared.
Yeah, and you guys are trained to read between the lines and know when something's coming up, where if somebody else was to read it, they wouldn't realize that that's what it's talking about.
Exactly, and we're looking for future. We're not looking for what's on the table today. We're looking at what's coming down the road, how this is going to affect you, in the next few months, maybe years. Because the 25-year cash flow plan really does say a lot, and if they're following it, we're going to let you know they're following it. We find about 35% of management companies do not follow the plan.
Wow.
So the tricky part is to figure out what plan they're on, and if it's working as well as if they've made the path okay, then we'll try to figure it out. But it does take a trained eye and maybe some conversation. Really, because when we do our plan, we've seen their plan and our plan, and we sort of say, well, you've veered off here, and this is where you're not. And so if we can't get those answers, and if they don't make sense, we're going to notify the new purchaser that they're off. And then this is where you have time to negotiate. So if there's a shortfall coming down the road, and you can see that, and you will be able to see it from the report. This is an excellent time to renegotiate. See, when you're doing it with the lawyer and it's kind of past that time.
Yeah, you've already removed the condition.
You've removed your condition. There's no negotiating left, but at this time there still is. And we actually find about 30 to 35% of the people that have their reports done do negotiate, and sometimes say 5, 10, 15 times what they have spent with us to have this done. So they phone us and they say, thank you. And lawyers say they're quite amazed, really, to see these reports, too. They say, for what you guys charge and the amount of information you give. We have lawyers as clients, too.
Okay.
They do use us.
So the big question is, how much do you charge? Does it vary depending, or is it the same for everybody?
That's a good question. No, it's one fee. It's $4.49 plus GST.
Okay.
And that just covers whether it takes, 6 hours or 12 hours to do one of these. It's always the same price. Some of them do get lengthy, like I say, when we're not, they're not following the plan and it's not kind of straightforward. Sure, some of them might take a little bit longer, but no, it's always the same price.
Which in the long run, if there is, assessment coming up or something, it's very well worth paying that. So
It
that
really is.
You don't end up paying $20,000, $30,000, $40,000
It's
a year or two down the road.
We've been told best $400 they ever spent. So, yeah.
Okay, well, I'd like to thank Carol for being our guest today. If you have any questions that we haven't answered on today's show, just please email them to either Carol or myself, and we'll make sure that we get the answers to you. Stephen, could you remind everyone how to get a hold of me?
I sure can. If you'd like to contact Kim Opalinsky, you can always call her, send her a text message, an email, or you can follow her on Facebook.
Okay, so that's all for tonight. And next week, next Wednesday, May 3rd at 7:30, it'll be a mystery show. So tune in to find out who's going to be on the show. And I bid you adieu until next week. Bye.
Thanks for watching, and if you haven't already done so, don't forget to like us on Facebook and to subscribe to us on YouTube.